building.
From the line, good reaction time for George Russell.
Glad to have you join us on another episode of Sports Hub right here on NigezieXtreme. It's been a while. Yeah, my name is Rotimi. So much summer sports happening: football, basketball, tennis, and we're right here to unpack all of this for you on the Hub today. My name is Rotimi again. I'm not alone. Joseph Faulkner, looking very cool, like a politician. Actually, like you said, what do you call it? Cap now. Looking very nice. Hello, Faulkner. How are you?
Good to be here. Taking it easy.
We didn't plan this black. I don't know what's going on, but Femi is here. He's actually not wearing black, but it's close to black.
I'm putting on the black trouser.
Okay, whatever.
Hello,
Femi.
black.
How are you?
I'm all right. It's good to be here.
So much to say to you, like I said. I mean, the biggest news coming into the studio this weekend has got to be the WAFCON, where you have 11 debutants in the Super Falcon squad. 3 NWFL stars, and then of course Mama's making a return. Somebody like Aziza is going for a 6th championship. We'll get to talk about that much later on the show. But guys, like I said, so much sports to unpack. Let's start with tennis. Just a few days ago, we saw the Roland Garros happen, and we're already counting down to the Wimbledon as the 3rd Grand Slam of the year. Is there a shift already in terms of the names we know? I know somebody like Femi and Faulkner have always been a big Joker Noel fan. It looks like that button has long been changed.
Long ago, Narosmi, I'm surprised how you're just coming into 2025 saying this. These guys, I think Djokovic hasn't won a Grand Slam in the last 6 events, right? And I stand to be corrected. 6 events, yes.
That's talking about Grand Slams.
Grand Slams. He's not won. The only title he won in 2024 was the Olympic medal. So that tells you already that, and that was the only thing missing from his cabinet. He's got every other thing. The only other record he's searching for is that record that puts him as the highest in terms of both the Open era and every other era put together. Alcaraz, Sinner, they've been the most consistent athletes in recent years, and no one can deny what they've done. I think they've brought about rivalry that we will savor. Murray has gone, Nadal has gone, Federer has gone. Djokovic is the last of his kind, and he's almost 38? He'll be 38 this year. I don't think he can compete at that level anymore. Physically, he hasn't got it.
Yeah.
Mentally, he's got it, but the body will not allow him to do what he wants to do. So yeah, I think so. There's a change of guard already. And if Djokovic can squeeze in one more Grand Slam, I'll be excited. But if not, well, we know we enjoyed the ride.
Is there any rivalry?
I don't even think mentally he has it anymore.
Okay.
So when you begin to play at a particular level and you're losing to the same set of players again and again,
it begins
to play with your, with your psyche. And I think that's when Novak is when it comes to Sinner and Alcaraz. And really, you asked the question: is this a new story unraveling? And I think yes. These two have been the most consistent in recent years. 2 of them have played each other in some finals. Mm-hmm. Alcaraz seems to be, in the head-to-heads between them, Alcaraz seems to be the one in front. And you saw the Roland Garros final, the way they both competed for that, gave us the longest
final
in the history of Roland Garros. I didn't think it was going to get to that. I didn't think it was going to take that long. I thought one of them was going to win. I was hoping Alcaraz would win, but I thought one of them was going to win in 3 or 4.
Yeah.
I thought maybe one of them would retire, but somehow both of them kept going till the very end. And I love, one of the things you would enjoy, and I saw this happen with Pete Sampras and Andrea Agassi.
Yeah.
I saw this happen with them. I saw it happen with Pete Sampras and Andrea Agassi. It's clear that both of them acknowledge how good the other person is, and they're just going to keep pushing each other. We've had Zverev and the rest of them looking like they could be, the ones to take over, but somehow it didn't happen. And these 2 guys, they've met in how many finals now? How many competitive finals? And you know, they are going to continue to be there because of the way they take care of them. So Sinner is out of it. Alcaraz is still there.
going.
Alcaraz, his last game on Wednesday, he said something on Thursday.
Yeah.
He said that was able to withstand the 3 hours plus. And what that does for you is it builds your mentality. You know, of course, he has shown that he's a mentality monster. He's when it comes to psyche, he's there. You know, he fights and all of that. Because look at the final, the Roland Garros final. I didn't think he was going to come back from 2 sets down. I never ever saw that coming. You know, there's a particular picture I have, you know, somewhere, you know, on my system now that showed him when it was 2 sets down, and it was about to start serving. You know, and somebody tagged it on social media that this is a reminder that it's not over until it's actually over. You know, and it's just a beautiful story. These are 2 guys. A few of my friends, I was jealous. A few of my friends went to watch the thing. I was the final. I was very, very jealous.
You can plan for next year. Or plan for Queens.
But
I said Queens.
So it's the original announcement of a new history that is about to be written.
Okay.
Right? So a lot of people who witnessed that were at the beginning. They can tell you that I saw it when they announced themselves like, okay, we are next 2 big things, you know, in world tennis.
I mean, not trying to downplay Yannick Sinner really, but then this controversy around doping, has it done enough justice to the other guys on the circuit?
I think that the tag will follow him everywhere, but generally everyone has called him a clean athlete in terms of someone who's been able to cooperate with the authorities, the ARU, and looking for solutions. I'm divided. There's a lot of division about what people think he is, but at the end of the day, look, the governing bodies have cleared him, and he's fit to play. So let's move on from it.
I don't think it's going to tarnish his legacy in any way, and the reason is simple. If he continues to play as well as he's playing right now, and he continues to get better, he wins tournaments, you know, regardless of the rivalry between himself and Alcaraz or anybody else, his tennis is what I remember him more for his tennis. Djokovic is not short of controversies as well. Remember during COVID, he was one of the most outspoken athletes against taking the jab
and all that.
You know, the vaccine.
I think he
whipped up. Andre Agassi had even Pete Sampras, as clean as Pete Sampras had. You know,
Becker had his issues,
but eventually they overcome the whatever. If you're going to talk about Novak Djokovic today, you're not going to talk about the controversy around that COVID period.
Or probably leading the player union
some of his utterances and all of that. You won't remember all of that. What you're going to remember is one of the greatest tennis players the world has ever seen. And I think Yannick Sinner, if he continues to play at this level, continues to grow, as in become better as a tennis player, win several Grand Slams, people are going to remember him for the exciting tennis that he showed to everybody. Because, like Femi said, he's been cleared. Whatever else, anybody can say anything. Where I watch it with a group of friends, and a few of them were calling him, dope athletes, this, that, about. But you know what? At the end of the match, everybody applauded 2 of them. You know, at that point when boys were genuinely talking about the game, nobody was talking about his history. What we were talking about was how good a tennis player, you know, he's becoming. How good that final was. That's what everybody would. So eventually, years to come, you're going to see people talk about his legacy in terms of what he is able to achieve. And I know he's going to win a lot of titles. He's going to win a lot of titles.
Fingers crossed. We'll wait to see how that pans out. But guys, still talking about tennis from the women's up, we can't really say same about a rivalry just yet. We've seen Coco Gauff and Sabalenka go head to head. I think this is the first time Coco Gauff is getting one over Sabalenka in a major final. But then, in terms of rivalry, we've seen this baton change especially from the women's up.
I don't think, again, I think that our brains understand one thing, and we always want things to sound that same way. We must not necessarily have 2 guys or 2 people going at it, because remember, we had Federer and Nadal. Djokovic joined the mix to make it 3. And then there was some period in and out, and Murray was in and out to make it 4. In the women's circuit, until the retirement of Serena Williams, she was the dominant force. Like, she was the only one. There were many people who came. Clijsters came and left. There was Justin Hernin who came at some point and left. She picked her sister as well, Venus, to go on there. And then later on, she had the likes of Naomi Osaka. I love what the women's angle is bringing, and it's different from the men. I'm not running a comparison.
It is different.
I'm saying that you mentioned Sabalenka, you mentioned Coco Gauff, Iga was also there at some point, right? She had her own issues, and however, has come back from Petra Kvitova. Is going to retire at the end of this season, but she's also been a top competitor. There've been loads of names. I love it. Look, whatever you get,
there's Jasmine Paolini coming through as
whatever
well.
you get, take it. Because the truth about it is that the women's sports will not be like the men's sport. There's no point in comparing both of them. They're two different sports. What women will do, the athletes are top professionals, and some of the games we've seen are top. The emotion is where I now comment on Rotimi, because in that final of the French Open, I thought Sabalenka was the sole loser. And I have great respect for her. I actually love her as an athlete.
But you should. I'm sorry, but
No.
I think that shouldn't come to you as a surprise.
I was shocked because look, you don't get to that level of your career
And then make comments
no,
like that.
you don't. Because you won. I remember the times you were winning, somebody else lost. Because you beat somebody to win Grand Slams. Now you have won. The least you would just say is, you know what? Credit to my opponent. I think she did very well. It was very good. No matter what they ask you about Iga, I have nothing to say. It's all about Coco Gauff. She was champion today and she deserves a credit. She's come back to apologize, which is good for her, but it was wrong to have said it in the first place. Because somebody beat Iga, you beat Swiatek.
Yeah.
Coco Gauff beat what was in front of her and then got there and beat you. So why are you complaining? Stop talking. Move on.
Fuck that.
Yeah, it's going to be tough to see another Serena. It's going to be very, very tough
Almost
to see another
impossible.
Serena. Serena had no rival when she was playing. They were all coming and going, and she was there. She was constant. And she's a big Sabalenka fan, But it's not. It's a rivalry, but it's not going to be. I don't think it's going to be a dominant rivalry in the women's circuit. We've not seen any dominant women rivalry in women. It's not going to happen like that with the women's tennis, and it's because of so many reasons. The body of a woman goes through all kinds of changes. Man's body cycle over the years than men. There is a way a man can continue because we don't go through childbirth. We don't go through our hormones, periods, and all of those things don't happen to our bodies. So for the women, they have to deal with a lot more in terms of their body. They have to deal with a lot more, and in dealing with men to have emotions, but the body change, the physical changes is one of the things. The moment Serena had her first child, you saw what started happening to her.
Yeah.
There was a decline in her game, and it's not going to. You're not going to see any woman dominate like Serena did. But I was very happy with Coco Gauff. I'm a big fan of hers. I really like the way she plays. I like what I saw in that final was a woman, a young lady who's growing into a matured woman, who is able to face, whatever was in front of her. Because everybody talks about, oh, you played the Swiatek. Look at the people
She also played.
Yeah.
Again, she played some of the top guys as well, top ladies as well. So she defeated everybody she defeated. She got to the final. She deserved to be in that final. Yes. What Sabalenka did was show that she's a human being who wants to win at all times. How she handled the result, was funny. She kept talking about how it wasn't because Coco Gauff was good, but it was because she made so many
errors and all
mistakes.
that.
Not some. She said she made a lot of mistakes, and so she handed the final over to, like Femi pointed out, she apologized and all of that, but the tennis itself, I love Sabalenka. I love the way she plays.
Yeah.
She's also another person that's going to be around for a while,
Yeah.
hopefully. I like the fact that Coco Gauff, I love the age at which she started winning. So it gives us a few more years before she gets to that point where she wants to start having kids, and all of those things.
Yeah.
At least we'll see the exciting tennis that we saw that final. We're going to see
more.
but we're not going to see dominant rivalry like we see in the men's draw. We're not going to see that one.
All right, well said, guys. Just before we close out on the first block of the show, the NBA Finals 2025. Initially I thought it would end in 5, but now the Pacers are forced to Game 7. Femi, just straight answer. Who takes it?
OKC. I just thought
Because it's been played at the Paycom Arena
that's one, and two, I think they've always been the favorites for this.
for this season.
Yes, they've been the favorites, and since they're up against the Pacers, I'm still going for them. Game 7.
Falcon?
I think the Pacers will nick it.
Away from home.
Yeah.
Huh?
I think the Pacers will
That's
nick
a
it.
bold one.
And it's simple.
There should be pressure on the home side.
The pressure is going to be on OKC. Number one, they are the huge favorite to win.
Yes.
Yeah.
Nobody expected these finals to
get
to
into game seven, yeah.
You know, but look at the way the Pacers have played. Every time they've been written off.
They bounced.
Somehow,
In fact, I didn't think they were going to take game six.
Nobody gave them a chance. I saw bookmakers. I saw whatever. You know, a few of us, you know, were trying to put money on the games. I saw bookmakers. A lot of people didn't give them a chance to get this far, and that's why that factor. And you know, go and look at the history of the finals that have gotten to game 7.
Yeah,
the winners always win by the odd points, 4 points, 7 points. You don't see like a huge blowout and all of that. But I think the Pacers are going to nick this one, and it's just because OKC, they're under tremendous pressure to do this one. Favorites, you were supposed to have won before game 7. Now they've pushed it to game 7. Now they're going to throw, and that caution that they're going to throw to the wind might be their undoing in the finals.
Fingers crossed. You can look forward to seeing that early Monday morning right here in Nigeria. We'll take our first break. When we come back, we'll be talking some football on Sports Hub. Alrighty, welcome back to Sports Hub right here on NigezieXtreme. It's just a few days to the start of the Women's Africa Cup of Nations in Morocco. And every team is preparing for this one, including the Super Falcons of Nigeria. And of course, the final squad list of 24 has now been released by the coach, Justin Madugu. And of course, Falcons are currently still training in Nigeria. They should be in Portugal on Monday to play friendly. But guys, I know you've seen the list. Any surprises for you?
I'm never surprised with women's list, to be fair.
How did you say that?
Who will play. Who will not play, will not play.
You're not surprised that Gift Monday is not on this?
I'm not surprised.
Okay.
Because there are loads of stories. There's a Chioma Okafor who's been introduced into the team. I haven't seen a lot about her, but there's a lot that has been said about her. So wait to see. I always say this about managers. Give them the opportunity to make their selection. Go and do what you need to do. If he fails, then we'll come for him because he has no excuse. You know, when we were part of the last coaching setup, when we went to the last AFCON. So you don't have any excuse that you don't have experience. You've been there before. You've had this team for a bit. The NFF told you last year you will handle this team. So handle it. Okay.
I think so. My excitement is having new players.
Yeah.
You know, we have about 11 new players in the side, and I say I'm excited because in recent years you look at Nigeria on the continent, our dominance
has been
it's not been like it used to be. It looks like a lot of teams are catching up with us. You know. And we've not refreshed that team enough in a long time. We've carried a lot of
old guard.
We've carried a lot of them, and I felt we should have started, doing this. So whatever happens at the women's competition, I'm one of those that believe that yes, it's time to start breeding new bloods into the squad, and that's what the coach has done with this. And I'm happy to see these new girls. We're going to be playing some friendlies next week. Mm-hmm. It's going to give us an opportunity to see what the manager is trying to do with the new set of players he's bringing in, because I'm expecting to see a few of those new people, new ladies, start. I'm not just even come on from the bench. Start in some of those friendly games, and some of the supposed old guards, some of them are switching clubs right now. They're not even active. Some of them don't have clubs yet just now. Mm-hmm. So let these ladies who have been playing in the local league, who have been playing wherever they pick them from, let's see what they can add to the team.
What I'm going to add to what he said is, as much as the managers try to change things and freshen things up, one thing that has been constant for us is the players in midfield. Deborah Abiodun, Echegini, Ucheibe, Payne, Alimata Inde. Those names are a lot younger, and that's why it makes a lot of sense going younger, because you have a player for a longer period. We already spoke about women's tennis, the indices that comes with playing tennis as a woman. Now imagine football, which is also very rigorous, what they have to go through. But we've had these players for a bit. We've seen what Echegini can do, plays for PSG. We've seen what Ucheibe can do, Alimata Inde, Deborah Abiodun, Tony Payne, right? Those girls at some point need to have that. Well, I don't use the word unity, but they've played together over a period of time that now they understand each other.
Chemistry.
Yes. At least in that midfield, we should, because in attack, Attack is obviously the place we change a lot. New players are coming in every other 2 days. Defense also. I think a couple of players from the local league, Nasara Amazons, Edo Queens in the defense. They will need time to blend with the Demings, the Aloziers, the Ashton Thompson and all. Yeah. But I'm very confident that our midfield will be our dominant part. And when we go to AFCON, is winning it the most important thing for me? No. Because I think that if you win it and we do not translate this to the international stage, it just makes us be...
But going by the campaign, Femi, maybe Faulkner will agree with me, it's a mission X. That means we're going in for the 10th title. Is it doable?
It's doable.
No, it's doable, but whoever started that mission nonsense thing should just... It's not sensible. It's one of the most insensitive, one of the most senseless campaigns I've seen in a long time.
Today.
Because it's... The manager is coming, is trying to change something. Don't put him under unnecessary pressure.
Give him time to build.
Let him build.
So when we Faulkner, when we say let's do it again for the Super Eagles, is that pressure on the Super Eagles?
So that one is different.
The Super Eagles.
Is it pressure?
We keep bringing new players every time with the Super Eagles. We didn't just start building with the Super Eagles. We start building with before Pesero. We continued rebuilding.
I'm talking about the campaign.
What I'm telling you is, with the Super Eagles, we keep rebuilding. So that
so let's do it again.
That nonsense they are doing, let them keep doing it.
Plus the difference
with the women, stop. We've not done a whole. We've not gone about changing the entire setup in a long time.
In a long while, yeah.
We've carried a lot of old heads, old legs in that team. Now finally, a manager has decided that, you know what, it's time to do wholesale changes. That's why we have 11 new players in the squad. Don't put him under any pressure.
Okay.
Let us see what he can do with the team. Let him build. So now this is now the Super Falcons rebuilding. What we have been doing with the Super Eagles for over 8 years now. Yeah. Now we are rebuilding. So with the Super Eagles, with all the rebuilding we have been doing in the last 8 years, we should be winning things now. We should be winning things. So that pressure, leave it with the Super Eagles.
We should be qualified.
We should be winning things.
No, we should be qualified.
No, I'm never even going to be interested in qualifying. We should qualify. We should win.
We usually qualify. He's right about saying we should win.
But Rotimi, we've not gone to the last.
We should not be talking about qualifying. That's the point.
I'm agreeing with you. I'm saying that, but we haven't even qualified
for
the last World Cup and the new one.
All that nonsense they are doing there, let them leave it with the
Super. And also say X.
I think the idea, let's just balance it. I think the idea behind the campaign is not to put the team under any pressure.
But that is what they're pressure.
No, it's just to get Nigerians more excited.
I asked you a question.
And get familiarized with the Falcons.
We don't need any campaign.
France, we can just get a lot of people. We don't need to drum up support for this lady.
With the exception of Osinachi Ohale, Odega, Asisat.
Regardless of all these
names. Who else has won the AFCON?
Regardless of all these names.
Nobody.
We do not need... Rotimi, we do not need any campaign to support our national teams in Nigeria.
Agreed.
Let's stop deceiving ourselves. Some people are spending money doing whatever they are doing. For all this campaigning, no, it's waste of money. And I will say it anyway because when it comes to the Super Eagles, you don't need any special campaign. When
the
it comes
last campaign
to
they did for
Super Falcons,
did they win it?
So we spend money on all these campaigns all the time.
And is that the first time against the final?
You know? We spend unnecessary money on. That was a time that.
But it's a private initiative.
That was
private initiative that the national team is carrying.
I don't care.
I'm just saying. It's because you say we waste.
It is waste of money. You don't need any special
when we did the Super Eagles campaign,
if you want to promote your brand, yes, whatever it is. The Super Eagles, we do not need any special campaign to get followership for the Super Eagles. Let the Super Eagles qualify for the World Cup today.
Yeah.
See how many Nigerians will travel to go and watch.
Femi, we'll start a new show, Mission X Update.
No, it's you. It's only you that.
Nobody has time.
Go and play the ball. Go and play the ball.
Okay. We wish the Super Falcons all of the very best. The game against Portugal is on Monday, by the way, and then they play Ghana a few days after. So really should be
what they should be
an exciting
what they should be, racking their head about is all this nonsense complaints by some of the players every now and then. It should end. That we don't need support for the Super Eagles. We need the Federal Federation to start doing their job. Let's stop all this era of complaints by players. You complain about this, complain about. We need to end those era. We need to.
Alrighty, no problem. We'll shift gears away from the Super Falcons now. Let's talk about the NPFL. Of course, we're looking forward to the new season, August 22nd. August 22nd. Yeah,
22nd.
that's according
first
to
game
the
will be played on the 22nd.
Honorable
That's what
Ebele. Yeah, the first game on the 22nd. And that's what we had. So that's what they're looking at. But then they're also looking at improving officiating, as it were. So there's this call.
That's a major improvement.
Yeah, so there's this call for VAR to be introduced.
No, VAR will not come next season. Let's keep whatever.
For me, it's even. I don't want to be dismissive, but that's what I'm going to do. It's silly. You've not solved the basic problem. You want to go and solve. It's like you've not finished
What's
primary.
the basic problem?
Basic problem is, like you mentioned, make sure that our pitches are good, players' welfare are good. Then the referees are better.
Playing surfaces everywhere.
Before a referee, before you go and start talking about VAR, won't the referee be good? The referee will not know the latest trends.
And the security.
So you can argue that VAR is supposed to help the referee's performances.
But even the best leagues in the world, has VAR carried the league from point A? Maybe. But has it completely
There will always, so as long as human beings are involved, there will always be complaints. So we can't, because of that, say it shouldn't be.
No,
the first thing you ask for,
the pitch,
the pitch,
players' welfare,
the pitch. So those are the improvements I want to see.
That's what we want to see.
I want to see the travel plans from clubs a lot better.
Simple logistics.
At the end of the National Sports Festival, we had some not very good reports about teams traveling back. And all of that.
Bad reports, also not very good.
We need to find a way to players' welfare generally, their travel, their dieting, their salaries. I'm hoping that it can be a lot better.
Yeah.
But the main one that we're seeing, the pitches, there need to be improvements.
How do you talk about it? In the whole of Nigeria, we have only one stadium that has pitch panel. And we want to be global.
What do you mean by?
How can you say one stadium?
No, there is not.
Digital pitch panel. Let me speak the English right. Okay. Digital pitch panel.
Okay.
One.
Because
out of 20.
It's just to install the others.
What we are saying is that first start from those ones first. Before you go to VAR now. VAR, people are shouting.
It's all part of improving the league.
No.
It was just mentioned.
What's the point of you playing in a league if at the end of the day there's no money in your pocket? How many Nigerian footballers go on vacation at the end of the season? Like we've seen foreign players now. Osimhen is in Lagos. Some other players have gone to the US to go and watch the Club World Cup. How many Nigerian players who finished the NPFL this season went on vacation in good places?
Several. I know. I know. So there are two boys that I know that are in Santorini right now.
They're not playing with us.
I know so many of them have traveled for holidays. So it has gotten better.
What do you mean by
it is not?
The
salaries will not be like what you see in Europe, right? But it is better than what it was. But it can be better.
Egypt?
So Egypt did not get here like this. No, it's not by mouth. South Africa did not get here by mouth. There are a lot of things that needs to be, that needs to be done before we get to that level. We can't just jump. But the point is, they are gradually getting there. At least salaries are a bit better than it used to be. At least in the last 5 years, we've seen improvement.
Yeah, last 3 years.
In the last 5 years, there's been improvement.
Yeah, last 3 years.
A lot more players because I used to know Nigerian players jumping buses. Oh yes, I used to know a lot of Nigerian popular names jumping buses. All of a sudden, a lot of Nigerian players are driving. They drive themselves. They look
the part.
They look like
part,
okay.
Yeah.
You see them and you say this one is playing football and you'll be like, oh, okay. I will say this, and it's not any kind of, I'm not disparaging Ikorodu City and whatever. Ikorodu City is supposed to be one of the new kids on the block. Yeah. They probably don't pay as much as a lot of other clubs and all of that. But I've seen them train. I've been around their trainings twice in the last season, and they look decent. And those are the way they are kitted. You want to see all this kind of little, because it's good for the optics.
Exactly.
It's very, very good for the optics.
It's good for it.
So we're going to get better. Let this welfare, let it be even better than what we have seen last season. Let it be a lot better. We don't want to hear players earning 100K per month. We don't want to hear, even though they say it's not happening anymore.
Who said it's not happening? Of course, we know it's happening.
150 is poor.
No, we know it's happening. Nobody's going to say it's not happening.
150 for a professional footballer.
Hopefully we get to see the improvements coming before the new season kicks off. Also still anticipating that announcement of a new TV deal, for the NPFL. There's nothing.
Will actually be very good for the.
It will be good for the league.
Let's see it. Not that they said it's been on TV, but I don't know which TV it's been on. Because one day you will see it, then you probably will not see it for another five game weeks.
Even the matches that you watch, you don't know. You'll be praying to go exactly. Go, please let it show the good. Go, please let it show the good.
So let's hopefully it's on TV, and because if it's on TV, sponsors will come.
Sponsors will come. And that's what we're open to see when the new season starts on the 22nd of August. Another quick break. When we come back, we'll be touching down from activities from the ongoing FIFA Club World Cup. There's been loads of complaints about empty seats. Does it really matter though? Fingers crossed. All right, welcome back. Still Sports Over NigezieXtreme in case you're just joining us. My name is Rotimi, Femi is here, and Joseph Faulkner is in here as well. Time to touch on the Club World Cup, FIFA Club World Cup, currently being hosted by the United States of America. More like a test run for the big one happening next year. Talking about the men's FIFA World Cup. Guys, I'm sure you've seen, I think about 8 to 10 games already.
We've seen all the first round.
All the first round games and all of that.
Started.
Few things jumps to mind apart from the goals, the players, and all the style of play. Because it looks like some teams are just started. They just want to play this and end the money and all of that. The empty seats have been a major talking point. The non-European teams have somewhat shown to the world that, hey, we also play football in this part, just that we don't have big coverage like European leagues.
I don't agree when people say there's not been attendance. I think there's been attendance. I think that...
Not as much as people expected.
So
people thought...
I feel that, number one, the timing of some of these games, and I give you an example, Chelsea, LAFC.
Yeah.
That game was played at 3 p.m., no work day. A lot of people went to work. Right? FIFA is also trying to accommodate the European markets because you know that is where your eyeballs are. Right? And obviously, if it comes to Europe, it comes to us because we're almost in the same time zone. We've seen some games that had some very good numbers. Real Madrid's game had some very good numbers in terms of turnout. I think the opening game...
What was the number?
It was almost 70,000, right?
What was the capacity of the stadium they played at?
I think the capacity was about 90,000. It
was 96,000.
6,000, right?
Yeah.
The same thing for the opening game was about 75,000 capacity. They had about 65,000 in terms of the numbers who showed up for the Inter Miami Al Ahly game. Now I'm saying that the tournament will get more interesting as we go forward once we get into the knockout stage.
Femi, all this one is shalaye. The fear of Donald Trump is the beginning of wisdom. This stadium. Listen,
but we might actually see this happen next year.
Let me tell you what's going on.
What's going on?
Unfortunately, the Home Office, FBI, all of them, they put out
DA.
whatever that. Not even DA.
ICE.
They put out They put out a statement that they were guaranteeing security. They were going to be at the match venues and everything. But everybody knows what's been happening in the US. They've been arresting non-documented migrants, and they are deported. There was a club in LA, Club Lagos. That's the name of the club in LA.
In LA.
Last Friday night into Saturday morning, that boys had gone to ball. They finished balling, and ICE, police, and everything were waiting for them outside. They let them finish. They didn't go into the club. Boys were finishing and were strolling out of the club into police hand, and they were, once you can't prove your whatever, and some of them, they weren't even asking questions. They were taking them away. So when they get to wherever they are taking you to, you go and sort yourself out. If you are legally there, you go home. You go and pick your car from the club where they left you. So unfortunately, FBI, the police, everybody, they put out a statement that they were going to be at all the match venues. Security is guaranteed. But of course, we were like that lie. It is not security people are coming to do. You want to come and so we enter stadium. We finish watching match and then you just welcome us out.
I've never known Joseph Faulkner to be somebody
of the stadium.
We say people should be afraid. Tell them to still go. Enjoy football.
So
football is for everybody.
When they deport them,
you come to your house.
When they deport people, you don't carry anything.
You don't carry anything.
It's the thing they arrested, anything they arrested you with.
That's how you enter. No, but they'll give you money back now.
There's no money. You're entering plane.
They don't give you money.
No.
Who's giving you false stories?
The only thing you are bringing back is your phone.
If it's with you.
Yeah, that's if they did not collect it, so that you can call your family members wherever you are landing that. Please, I don't have
Wait,
transport.
so they not drop you in Enugu
No,
International.
They won't take you.
you find your way from there to wherever. So
they don't be in Abuja.
So it's
International
either Lagos or Abuja. If
International.
the Nigerians.
Okay,
the
so
Nigerians.
if you are in Abuja, if your
it's
family,
Abuja or Lagos.
if your family is in Port Harcourt, they not drop you in Lagos.
You find your way.
Family
Who will
can
not
bring-
give you the money? Do you know how much flights is in Port
You
Harcourt?
call them to send money. You call them to send
Which
money. But I think a lot. So now the American system is such that a lot of migrants actually spend a lot of money in terms of entertainment and all of that.
Yeah, lifestyle.
You know, lifestyle and all. And when you put them under this kind of fear, you will
don't
see this
them.
happen.
Yeah.
Even though we've not heard any story of people being
Arrest
arrested
and
at the stadium,
at the
at the match,
stadium, yes,
we've not heard
yes,
any
at the
stories
stadium.
like that. You know, but you know the
But
kind
the
of
fear is
but
there.
the fear is there. You know
The
the
fear is
president
there.
they have is a no nonsense man. He can say it and he will do it, and nobody can hold him.
So
but,
Femi, have you
but I
changed your
think,
mind?
but I
No,
think
no,
when we
no,
get
no,
to
no.
it's just Club World Cup
It's just
at the end
Club
of the
World
day. When we get to the
FIFA World Cup.
Maybe
to
knockout
when we get
stages.
to the knockout stages, I'm sure the semi-finals and the final
The quarterfinals
will be me. I'm not even so because
why-
we might likely see Botafogo in the semi-final in the
And if
quarterfinal.
Botafogo gets there, because look, have you seen some of the South American
So
teams play?
it's not about how they got there. Nobody cares. Everybody wants to see the big boys. So if Botafogo gets to the quarterfinals, it's problem. You know, but look at
Fluminense,
for
for
instance,
example.
look at what Inter Milan did to Porto.
Inter
Trust
Miami.
me, Inter Miami, I beg your pardon, did to Porto. Nobody saw it coming. Yes, Messi is there, but the same way Ronaldo could not help Al Nassr qualify for their continent, for their own continental whatever. The same way, I did not think Messi, because these guys they've tried. Look at how old two of them are.
Suarez.
They've tried.
But we already are Inter Miami got here now.
You know, yeah, but
It was
Inter
one cup
so
like
no. So it's beyond the cup. They are hosting.
Yeah, maybe
They are
that's
hosting. They are using
why.
their stadium.
Yes.
You know, and whether you like it or not, as old as Messi is, he will draw the crowd. Definitely, he will draw the crowd.
Said they are hosting.
And look,
Atlanta too is hosting. They not call Atlanta.
no, so
Atlanta is
unfortunately, who in Atlanta can you use to draw crowd?
nobody.
Oh, so that means we are agreeing.
Then you'll understand that there are times that
you have to-
use different yardsticks to do something. You have to make money.
Okay.
You have to make money, and that's why look at. But
And in my mind, I was
Inter
like-
Miami grew into that game, and I was shocked because I saw that game and I was like, Inter Miami.
But they have Sergio Busquets.
It doesn't
They
matter.
have-
Those are old guys.
But they still play. Just saying.
Suarez has complaining about his
Porto
knees.
has struggled all
Suarez
through this
is
last
playing
season.
with. So I have a group of friends that will watch the games at night. So I just randomly put out the question that they should tell me their sincere opinion about the competition so far, what they feel. And they're like, it's been boring. And I'm like, no, I don't think it's been boring. I've seen some games. Botafogo against PSG. Masterclass in defending.
Fluminense against
Borussia
Borussia
Dortmund. Masterclass in defending.
Do you know what I love about that game? Goretzka practically was marked out by
Totally.
Thiago Silva. Thiago Silva
A
excused him.
40-year-old.
Excused him.
A 40-year-old.
So I don't think it's fair on the entire Fluminense defense. If you look, they were switching turns.
Yes.
They were taking turns
Yes.
on him.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
apart from that, look at the way they played in the middle. 5 players in the middle, so that what's it called? Borussia Dortmund will not see the space to pass and run. It was not going to happen. You know. So we've seen some very good games. And you said the last part of what you said is, have they shown enough non-European clubs? Have they shown enough to tell the world
To
that,
announce themselves, yeah.
Unfortunately, the African teams have not. Mamelodi Sundowns, despite that
Opening day win.
they win. I don't think the African sides have done enough, right? But those South American teams, they've done it. They've shown that we can
done
play
enough.
football.
They've done enough.
We can play
to say that
football.
they may not win the tournament, but watch out for us.
Who
We'll
says
be
they
there.
can't win?
But again, another thing is
Who says they
scouts
can't
are
win?
watching.
Yeah.
That's another
Scouts
point.
are watching.
Who says
Transfer
they
window is
can't win?
open.
Yeah.
Another thing.
So a lot of those boys are trying to sell themselves.
African players. Yeah. Imagine if you have put players from Remo Stars or from Eimba.
Hopefully, in another year.
Eh?
Hopefully.
In another year, what
The next
will happen?
Club World Cup will be in 4 years' time.
That's what I'm telling you. Which Nigerian team?
We might.
I'm telling you, Joseph Faulkner.
Watch
How?
now.
In 4 years.
Watch now.
Based on
So,
what?
This is not so. Femi,
Don't forget.
Unfortunately for people like you, you love to banter the Nigerian side.
Let me even aside.
But you know,
On what premise?
Let me
now?
even
What is
aside
your
from
premise?
that. CAF is changing
formats.
club competition format.
Yeah.
So it might not be CAF Champions League and CAF Confederations Cup that you are used to. Anyone that comes in, a Nigerian club side might have a good chance of winning it.
How?
Because it's a new tournament.
How?
What do you mean how?
Because there is a Red Monsters that every year they've grown, every year they've shown that they are willing, they are ready to take part in the best competition in Africa.
So,
Or let's just say best competitions
so
available.
number one, you know that it comes down to rankings. After the selection of the winners,
Yes.
the rankings comes in because Al Ahly have won the CAF Champions League, right? Mamelodi Sundowns has not won it, but because of their rankings, based on what they performed,
It doesn't matter.
It matters.
What if we win the tournament that qualifies you for the Club World Cup? What happens?
There's a club money for that one now.
If you win CAF Champions League, you go now.
qualify for the
How do you want
whatever.
to win CAF Champions League? You know what? I don't talk again.
So
I don't talk again.
It's better. Don't talk again.
Unfortunately
Don't talk again.
for someone like Femi, he shouldn't even talk about Nigerian as a local league football because he has shown us that he doesn't know anything. When he said Shooting Stars will win the league,
I don't talk again.
you know, so he has shown us that he doesn't have any
I
idea
stop saying anything.
what's going on.
Nigerian
in
club has
the
not reached
local league.
semi-final of this thing. When last did we reach semi-final?
So that's
And that team has to-
that's what
And we're telling you.
no, Rotimi, that's what a lot of these people who don't watch the league, that's what they
Exactly.
say. And that's why they will sit down. That's why they will sit down
league now?
and say Shooting Stars will win the league.
Oh yeah, which
The
time
next Club World
Nigeria-
Cup is in 2030. Are you saying a Nigerian
Between now
team
and then.
between now and then?
From now to
Rotimi.
then, already one spot has been taken.
From who?
One spot has been taken now.
By
Somebody won the CAF Champions League this year now.
Okay.
So that person will represent Africa the next
in
time.
2030.
Yes, now.
Which rule give you that?
That's the rule now. The
Okay.
champions.
Of 2025. We will go and represent Africa in 2030.
It's not that you did not read the rule book. If you read the rule book, the champions of Africa goes to go and represent Africa now.
The champions of Africa when? In 2025.
Because they did not go this year now. Did they come this year? Pyramids are champions.
Femi, the Champions League is recurring. The champion of 2025 is not the one representing us.
In
But
2030.
they might be part. Listen, they might be part of the African contingent to the Club World
They are
Cup
not
by
part.
matter
They will
of
be there.
rankings.
No.
Okay.
You know what? I'll go
then-
and bring the rule book for people so you read it.
It's okay.
Because the champions, is it not called FIFA?
Okay,
Club World
Femi,
Cup?
wait. If Pyramids even, based on what you're saying,
How did you- wait,
if Pyramids gets a spot in 2030, the remaining 3-4 slots for Africa, what happens?
Now,
Nigeria
it also
can't
now
fit in.
matters who else won. If it's a different team, because remember, Al Ahly won more than once over a
They've
period.
gone for this one.
That's what I'm saying.
Yes.
Mamelodi Sundowns didn't win. Remember, but
It's the
because of
same
their
way
rankings,
City and Chelsea are in the Club World Cup.
No, Chelsea won the
This is the
Champions
first
League.
of this format.
Exactly.
This Club World Cup.
Yes.
So they did all sorts to get
To get
different
teams, to get 32
to
teams.
get
It
into
doesn't
this
mean it will
tournament.
be that way.
It's not going to. It's not going to be. It will not be like that.
So what they did was also the rankings of the clubs based on their performance over a period of time.
Agreed.
Because
Period of
so
time
they're not going to
between
use
when
that
and when.
period for the next competition. They're not going to use that period.
That
again.
same
which one are
period
they
of
going to
time.
Because there's
What are
going
they
to
going
be
to
there's going to be a 5-year period between now and the
2030.
next whatever. So this period
Or 2029.
is going to determine the next set of teams that will go, not the years before this tournament that is going on,
We'll be here.
not the years
I remind
before
you
this
about
one.
this.
So because what you are saying is now FIFA will just wake up.
All of you that
what
went
has
for
happened between
2026,
2026, 2027, all of you have
Nothing.
wasted
It
your
is
time.
people that came for
People that-
2021 like Chelsea
21,
that will go
No, that's
again.
what I said.
So
I said the
what period are they
champions-
looking at?
I said champions of 2025, 26, 27, 28.
So have you? So do you know champions for 2025, 26,
Sorry, Femi,
27, 28?
25 now.
So what argument are you arguing? You said we are telling you that they're not going to use that time frame.
You didn't understand me. No, I'm saying that the champions of the previous Champions League.
He said is the
I am
champion.
coming now.
He said he's the champion of 2025.
I am here now.
And we're telling you that 2026,
2027,
2027, and you still say it's 2025.
No, 2025 champions
Okay.
is not at this tournament, right?
Pyramids.
Yes.
Okay.
So how are pyramids going to be represented at the next event? Are you saying they're not going?
So we are also
Pyramid-
selling you
No,
that
pyramids will go.
Because Femi wants to argue, he was not listening. So he said something that contradicted yourself. You know.
I am here now.
Hold on.
Wait,
On our YouTube, whatever, you go and watch it again and go and listen to yourself. This is what we told you. You are saying, there were criteria they used, and we told you that
Yes.
between a certain period,
Yes.
and they are not going to use that period again for the next. Now you are saying this, but you said no before.
No.
You said no before.
I am here, so let me say what I said. I said we have used the criteria to pick that year. That criteria, champions, will start the next cycle. So the champions of the Champions League will pick the next cycle, which includes the champions of this year.
So why were you arguing with Rotimi when that was the first thing Rotimi said?
So let me now
That was the first thing Rotimi said. Why were you arguing?
No, let me now wrap it to what I was saying, what you were saying about the Nigerian team. That you're saying from now to the next tournament, Nigeria will either win the CAF Champions League or have enough ranking points to go there. And I said no.
We said what we told you is
win.
between now and then a Nigerian team can win and will represent Africa. But you said no.
I said no.
It is 2025 whatever that will go.
That no Nigerian team will win between now and 2029.
Yes.
Okay. Are you cool now?
So why did you argue? Why did you went Rotimi? The first Rotimi? No, that means you were not listening to Rotimi.
You didn't understand me.
Rotimi started with something. He has said, now, this 2025, till the next edition, the winners. That was what he started with. And that was what he started with. And you
That's what I said. That pyramids. I mentioned pyramids now.
You said pyramid will represent and the rankings.
No, I said pyramid.
I like this one.
Let's move on to transfers, please.
I just wrap it up.
Let's move on to transfers.
All of you didn't understand, so don't worry.
Lord Jesus,
Let's just move on.
You just wanted to argue that no Nigerian team will go. So you were not listening.
I said it. No Nigerian team.
By way of information, though, the new Premier League season fixtures have been released. Liverpool have Bournemouth, United, Arsenal, the standout fixture. Any other game? Any other thing will happen.
38 weeks, so let's wait for
so we'll talk about that more.
We're not talking about it until season starts. They're just fixtures.
But let's just close out the show with transfer stories. The news around Osimhen and Saudi Arabia said he's not going, but the offers keep coming.
Because there's no.
If you were to advise him,
apart from Galatasaray, nobody else wants to sign him in Europe.
Nobody else.
I think if I were to stay in Turkey.
No, I think he shouldn't stay in Turkey.
So where should he go to?
But where should he go to Saudi Arabia?
I think, and this is my opinion, I think that what he should do, if I were his agent or advising him, would be, you know what? Let's take a pay cut. Let's take a longer contract. Let's take a pay cut and let's go somewhere else.
So all of you just assume that it's just a pay
cut.
And I'm telling you that, are you telling me here now that no big European team can pay that salary Osimhen is asking for? How much is the salary in itself?
A lot can pay.
They can pay, a lot can pay.
So it is more than just a salary.
I agree.
Yeah.
That's why I'm saying that if you remove the money factor out of the equation and say, you know what, for a better figure, I would come. The other baggage that you are thinking about.
But do you know that do you know that these are agents? All this story about money is agents. No club has gone out for Osimhen.
Why?
No club in Europe has inquired about Osimhen.
I heard from an agent last week that I met. He says there's more to. He said it's beyond money.
Exactly.
Attitude is.
Let me tell you. See, you need to talk to. By God's grace, now because of this my football thing. We're talking to different people around. Mm-hmm. Trust me, there are people who are concerned about coaches who are concerned about his attitude.
Yes.
And if I was close to Osimhen right now, one of the things I'm going to tell him to do, he needs to change his PR team. Everybody that are supposedly doing PR for him, he needs to change them. Right now is not the time to talk about, he's the best striker in Europe, is this. Right now is not the time to throw jabs at his former clubs or his former managers or whatever. No. Now is the time to just deliberately flood everywhere with Osimhen's performances, Osimhen behind the scenes,
Osimhen donations, Osimhen charity
beyond
stuff.
Osimhen donations, Osimhen hanging out here and there, Osimhen what he's doing in the neighborhood, and all of those kind of things. Yeah. You know, this is the time to begin to launder his image. It's not the time to start throwing, because I see a few people who try to talk for him on
putting
Twitter,
up the numbers
and they are throwing jabs at Napoli. Nah. That in itself is even doing more damage to Osimhen. The people in Saudi don't care. If you go to Saudi and misbehave, you go to jail. If you go to Saudi and you go, they will give you bulala. It's simple.
I also think that beyond PR, right? And PR, you can do PR to run as fast as you can run, but you cannot run away from who you are. I think he has to work on himself first. You are now a man.
That's the first. That's first.
You are now a
PR.
man. You have to work on yourself. So all those outbursts you will make, because your PR can cover mask. But when you enter a situation, remember the situation happened at the nightclub in Turkey where the cameraman came out. Whoever was right, whoever was wrong, your PR cannot cover that because you've already reacted first. And you know the story is already against you. So nobody's ever going to ask you what's your side of the story. They're already running with, Osimhen did this. I think he has to learn to be mindful. Mindful meaning before you react, you first stop to think, what will the repercussions be? Especially for yourself. Because look, he's a very good player. His numbers don't lie.
I asked somebody this question, and Boniface is not a bad player as well.
Yeah.
No, he's not.
I'm a lot of clubs who play in the Europa League, Conference League in England can sign Boniface.
Yeah.
How many of their strikers are as good as Boniface?
Not a lot.
You know, but they, see all these crews, you talk to people anyhow, you react anyhow, and all of those
your
things.
reaction on social
Those
media.
things matter. People are watching you. You know, a lot of people will say, there were infanteribles, you know, and they are Oyinbo men living in Oyinbo man's land. You are a foreigner who is come to, you have to work extra. It's just like the educational system in Europe, in the US and whatever. If you are a black man going to those countries, you have to work extra hard. Because you are in another, you are paying more than them. Your school fees is more than them. You have to do, you know, the country you left behind. You have to do everything. And, you know, sometimes it's a lot of African players, and it's not just Nigerian players. A lot of African players begin to make money and they lose focus. They lose sight of what took them out of Nigeria in the first place. You know, and that's one of the things a lot of these players need to be sat down and talk to. And they need to have people around them who can look them in the eye and tell them the truth. Not yes men.
I always give example of Ademola Lookman. How Lookman is not always out there. He's not doing too many things. When I mean too many things, he's not in your face committing this offense.
Sorry, Femi. Do you know, this Lookman that you say, you know he has every reason last season to go all out against his manager.
Yes.
You remember
that
story?
Well, just apologize and move back. Same thing for Saka. Saka had enough reason to challenge the English fans after they abused him. Well, what did he do? Just back off. Because you understand the
what
long-term
Saka
goal.
went through was what David Beckham went through, and he gave the English fans the middle finger and whatever, and they tried that. But Saka didn't even.
It just moved back.
Whether you like it or not.
And what we are saying that these guys are also Nigerians. At least by descent, they are Nigerians.
Yeah.
You know what, guys? Anyway, we'll leave the Osimhen talk. We'll wait to see.
I want to see Osimhen play in the. So I predicted something on radio years ago. I said Osimhen is going to break the goal scoring record for Nigeria. I said he's going to break it, and I still stand by that thing because his talent is not in doubt. You know, I think he's going to be one of the greatest Nigerian footballers to have, one of the greatest Nigerian strikers to have ever played in Europe. You know, I just hope he can knuckle down and forget about all these extras, work on himself like Femi said, and just play his football because that boy can score goals. Oh Lord Jesus, Osimhen, Boniface can score goals. You know, those guys are footballers. Forget about what happens to Boniface whenever he plays for the Super Eagles. Boniface can. He just needs a manager who understands his style of play and play to his strength. Boniface can score goals. Osimhen, we have strikers who we should be licking our lips whenever we get on the international scene. Ademola Lookman, Victor Boniface, Victor Osimhen, even Moses Simon. We have strikers that we should be licking our lips every time we play against anybody. Africa should not be a problem for us.
Shouldn't be a problem. Anyway, Moses Simon, by the way, should be joining another French League on
Paris FC.
That has been done. Okay, so
one of the biggest stories coming out of Europe, Florian Wirtz is
Liverpool as well.
Done.
Quick update on the Sesko move to Arsenal.
So, Sesko and Gyökeres, both of them are ready to go to Arsenal. But the clubs are changing the goalposts. And it's money. It's just about how much they want Arsenal to pay. Now, Arsenal is trying to be clever by half. In the sense that they are not going to pay everything at once. So like Zubimendi is done. He's in England. He got to England yesterday. is in England. They're going to finalize that thing. Now, one of the stories around Zubimendi is that they want it to reflect in the next accounting year, which starts in July. So they want it to reflect in that one to help Real Sociedad's books, and all of that. So that one is settled. For Real Sociedad, they are paying that in about 5 installments. Whatever. Partey, there's a lot of confusion around that. Partey wants to stay in England actually. A friend of mine in Ghana, a journalist. No, he wants to stay.
How do you know? You just took that out there. If you want to stay in England, come to United.
No, if Arsenal, if you can't sign a agreement with Arsenal, he's living in England. Arsenal is the only club he wants to play for in England.
Yeah, Partey's number.
And the reason is but I know somebody.
I want to talk to him.
I know a journalist. I think you even know the journalist who knows.
Okay, no problem.
So Partey's own is there. Sesko, I think now what we're hearing as of Friday is that personal terms have been agreed. It's just how Arsenal will pay. Okay. I think the club wants about £50 million up front, and then the rest, and then plus some add-ons.
All right.
That was that. Gyökeres, and this is something that I'm going to put it out here now. If Arsenal, if everything goes to plan according to what they want, what Arteta wants, Gyökeres and Sesko will come to Arsenal. And that's why they are talking. Better has been talking to both of them.
Okay.
They want both of them. And it's because of what happened last season that they did not think at any point that the entire front line would be injured and they will now be using Merino as
the
false nine. So they want to do, but if one of them, Sesko or Gyökeres, don't happen, Oli Watkins is the backup.
Okay. On that cheering note for the Gunners, we've come to the end of today's show. Okay.
Sorry, before we come to the end of the show, there's a team in Italy now that seems to love Manchester. Manchester City, Manchester. They just love Manchester. Napoli. We know what McTominay is doing.
Yeah.
They're doing very well. They picked De Bruyne. They're doing well. Garnacho
is
now they're interested in Garnacho. They're interested in Sancho. Sancho might be going to Germany. They're interested in Grealish. That's the new one.
What is Conte? What is the
but he's using, but look at what McTominay is doing for him. McTominay was amazing for them.
Interesting stuff. All right, we gotta go now. Many thanks.
If they get all these players, they are retaining that title.
No problem. Fingers crossed. Thank you, Femi. Thank you, Faulkner. Do I need to thank myself? Anyway, that's it on today's edition of the show. We're back again next week, same time, same station. Enjoy your weekend. Bye for now.
Which it was by Malcolm Brogdon.
From the line, good reaction time from George Russell.